Good morning, good morning. It is someday in April, April 25th. We're going to be riding a bunch of Hampton Roads Transit, running all three modes, bus, rail, and ferry. Currently in MacArthur Center Mall in downtown Norfolk. Kind of a dead mall, but really nice. So we'll let you know when we get on the way. If you look, American flag, Virginia flag, City of Norfolk flag, if the wind will be so generous. It's yeah, it's interesting. Yes, absolutely. We're at MacArthur Center, MacArthur Square station on the Tide, which we'll be getting on momentarily. Here's a map of the Tide light rail from EVMC 4 Norfolk to Newtown Road, with downtown Norfolk in yellow and walkable transfer points to the Elizabeth River Ferry in blue. Narrower line segments denote a single track line. Look, it has dots. Camera's actually focusing though, so it's kind of fun.
The next stop will be Civic Plaza. You will be exiting right.
Hopefully the games are still going on. It's been a while ago.
Yeah. Just got off Harbor Park, following the signs to the ferry because they're rerouting to Harbor Park for some reason. We don't know why, but it'll just be a strange little, we'll get to go to Harbor Park for and out of, they might be in season with baseball stuff, but it'll just be kind of strange getting onto stuff that's not usually serviced. Under a normal schedule, the Elizabeth River Ferry, starting from the Portsmouth side, runs from High Street to North Landing. That's a very short distance, only a few blocks, even a short walk too. From North Landing, it goes to Waterside across the river to Norfolk, and from Waterside, it runs back to High Street, and that cycle starts every 30 minutes, and then 15 minutes during more peak times. On Tide's game days, they run a ferry from North Landing to Harbor Park in addition to the normal service. And right now, because Waterside's closed, they're only running ferries shuttling back and forth between High Street and Harbor Park on a half-hour schedule. I originally intended to cover the ferry more in depth in this video, but I actually filmed way too much footage to put in one video, so that got its own video, which came out last week. So if you want more on the ferry, I encourage you to go check it out. Back on the Tide, heading towards Newtown Road. Now passing the yard where they store them. Looking pretty empty, so most of them are probably in service right now.
The next stop will be Newtown Road. You will be exiting left.
Alright, we're at Newtown Road, just on the city limit border of Virginia Beach in Norfolk. And the light rail was supposed to continue. Virginia Beach held a referendum. People voted no. So the city limit's about halfway down the street. And as you can see, the old freight rails this was going to be built on top of end halfway in the middle of the street at the city limit. So Virginia Beach was very petty. But the line continues and they already own it, but Virginia Beach says they can't build it. Hopefully it gets extended to the waterfront someday, but it's unlikely in the near future. Crossing Newtown Road, and now we're in Virginia Beach, where the old freight rail right of way is. This would have been the Tide. This would have been that. Would have kept going that way. And they own the water, the right of way almost all the way to the waterfront. Would have been nice. I'm heading back here into Norfolk on the tide. Runs pretty fast in this part of the route. These mostly low floor light rail vehicles can run really fast if they need to. From Newtown Road, we were going to take Hampton Roads Transit's bus route 20 to the downtown Norfolk Transit Center, just to get either the 1, the 3, or the 961 northbound out of downtown. But it turns out the tide would have been faster, taking the tide to Monticello, and then walking across the street, getting the bus from there. This grade is insane. If you want a full video, like I did for the Elizabeth River Ferry, but just on the tide, let me know in the comments. Globe lamps. This time during the day. We got on the bus route 1, northbound out of downtown Norfolk, right across the street from Monticello Avenue Station on the tide. And at this point, we've done each mode that Hampton Roads Transit has to offer. We started with the tide, and then the ferry, and back to the tide, and now we're on the bus. When attempting to get on the interstate on a transit bus. Right now we're on the Hampton Roads Transit Route 961. It's a 757 express route. And as you just saw, traffic on the interstate's pretty bad. It was really bad all the way up to the bridge tunnel, the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel 964. But thankfully, traffic sped up once we got actually onto the bridge. I think they were manually stopping traffic with the overhead signals for some reason or another. But once we got through that, it was pretty much smooth sailing all the way to Hampton. Here's us on the bridge section of the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel before going under the tunnel. So just massive views of nothing but water and land way off in the distance. I've ridden the 961 a couple times in a previous video. That was my taking transit to a drive-in. But runs from downtown Norfolk Transit Center to the Newport Transfer Center. Today I got on at Ward's Corner, which is the last stop it makes before getting onto the interstate. Once we get off the bridge tunnel, we go through Hampton, and then we end up in Newport News. I'll say it again, but if only this bumpy bus route could be supplemented with a ferry, it would be great. But I think adding more ferry service would be a great addition to Hampton Roads Transit services, especially if they added a service across the James, serving downtown Norfolk, Portsmouth, Newport News, and Hampton. I think that'd be a really cool route that would eliminate the need for only relying on the 961 or the 967 when it runs. And I believe there's one other route that runs a very specific route from a certain park and ride on the south side. And I honestly think the ferries would just complement them. The 961 only runs infrequently hourly during non-peak, and during more peak times it gets as frequent as half-hourly, and the 967 only runs a few times a day. Got to the Newport News Transit Center off the 961 from Norfolk. Now we're going to go find the 106 and 107, which come in hopefully just a few minutes. Again, nice transit center. They have the ticket window closed today, though. We're on the 106, different kind of bus. We'll be on the way in a very few minutes. So right now you're looking at one of Newport News' few claims to fame. This is the largest movable crane in the Western Hemisphere. It's absolutely massive. And it's the Newport News Shipbuilding, and they're actually the largest employer in the state of Virginia. And the other big claim to fame of Newport News is that Ella Fitzgerald was born here. So I think the key takeaway from this video is that Hampton Roads Transit as an agency serves a gigantic area. They go as far west as Carrollton, as far northwest as Williamsburg, and as far in the other direction towards the southeast as oceanfront Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Suffolk. They actually have a whole interactive map, which I will link to in the description, that if you want to see how far they actually run, you can explore for yourself. And with that, I thank you all for watching. If you liked the video, consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you on the next one.